Welcome back to Forgotten Hollywood. It's not uncommon in Hollywood for rival studios to come up with similar plots or a single studio to make a remake of a past classic, as we have seen many times before. This year something different happened. The same producers made two films with essentially the same plot, filming at the same time and in the same place, and even using some of the same actors. Now, they did this with different writers and directors, so the movies are not identical twins, but fraternal twins. Still, they are too close not to be compared. The first of the films that I saw was The Retirement Plan starring Nicolas Cage. In the film, Cage plays Matt, a government assassin drinking his life away in retirement, while his estranged daughter realizes that she and her husband are in over their heads with mobsters. There's a whole convoluted plot involving stolen data, the contexts of which are never actually explained, and it somehow involves politics, because of course it does. The main plot really starts when the estranged daughter, Ashley, sends her daughter, Sarah, a hyper-intelligent 12-year-old, to her father's house for safekeeping. This brings the problems of the mobs to Matt's door, and that's when the killings start. It's hard to keep track of the exact body count, but his character alone took out around 20 people, in addition to other killings throughout the movie. The second movie I watched was The Baker, starring Ron Perlman. Now, this was actually the first released, but since the release was so limited, I'm talking like a few hundred theaters, there wasn't one near me playing the movie, so I had to wait till I could rent it on streaming. And the plot is, as I said, nearly identical to the other one. Perlman plays the title character, known to basically everyone as the Baker. But his name takes as Poppy. He's not given a proper name. In this one, it's his son that gets into trouble and drops off his daughter, Delphi, with his estranged father for safekeeping. The main differences are that in this movie, it's drug dealers rather than the mob, and Poppy doesn't kill everyone that crosses his path. Just a lot of them. While the similarities are obvious, there are still some differences. A few are minor, and others really affect the plot and tone. One of these is the reason for the estrangement. Without going into too much detail, Matt's daughter acted like she didn't have a father until she needed him. And on the other side, Pappy acted like he didn't have a son until he was in trouble. On the matter of the family, the two girls couldn't be any different. Sarah is older, mature, and very virtuous. She even talks a henchman out of killing at one point. On the other hand, Delphi is a compulsive thief who hasn't spoken since her mother died. But even so, I still like Delphi better because she has a really good story arc, and her contributions to the film are more significant. Tonally, these films couldn't be more different. The Retirement Plan reminded me of a TV network spy drama or crime drama with lighthearted banter, goofy humor, and the need to introduce every character and location with text on screen. On the other hand, The Baker is a serious take on the plot with much less humor and a lot more character growth. The Baker also had noticeably less foul language, and the characters were able to converse on more than one occasion without dropping an F-bomb. Whereas in The Retirement Plan, it was nice when the characters would go more than 3 sentences without one. Both movies had a bad guy with a temper who went on a swearing rant, but while the one in The Baker calms down, his counterpart in The Retirement Plan never actually does and spends the entire movie yelling at people and cursing up a storm. Pretty sure the rant was just his normal way of speaking. It was just more tense and louder in volume in that particular scene. Despite being filmed in the Caribbean, there's a lack of establishing shots of random girls in swimsuits, which is a nice change and separates it from the TV dramas and such. But the violence level in both were pretty equal to Die Hard. A little more intense than The Retirement Plan, which may have had a bigger budget. blood costs money to put in a movie, and both films found creative ways without sacrificing body count. Most of the deaths are similar to what you would see on a TV crime drama, but a couple were more intense. There are also several instances of the Lord's name in vain in both films, though I think it happens less in The Baker. An interesting result of being at the same time and place and under the same team of producers is that several actors crossed over. The CIA agent in the retirement plan is the baker's son. And the cop Poppy talks to is also the accountant. And the waitress in the baker shows up as a flight attendant to the other. The same thugs, same stuntmen, even Ron Perlman has speaking roles in both films, although he plays very different characters. It made watching it as a double feature as just sort of a game of who were they in the last movie. Overall, The Retirement Plan wasn't a terrible movie, but there were several things that weakened it. Some scenes of unnecessary violence were just so that we know that the bad guy is a bad guy. The fate of some of the characters is ambiguous, and the reasons for others' involvement is equally unexplained. In short, several plot points made no sense, and the language was off-putting enough that I doubt I will watch it again. I felt that The Baker was better made of the two, and took the subject matter more seriously, while the ending was surprising. It didn't come out of left field, and there was at least the sense of closure. Would I watch it again? Debatable. The language was still a bit much for my taste, but at least it was more restrained. However, the relationship between the old man and the little girl made up for it. Almost. Thanks for watching. Have you seen either of these films? Or even heard of them? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the bell for notifications, and I will catch up with you next time.